comes a breaking point in the life of every man destined for greatness, where he realizes that the noise of the world is not just a distraction, but a poison that is slowly killing his potential. You are currently living in a state of constant, low-level anxiety caused by the incessant buzzing of other people's opinions, the notifications on your phone, the demands of your fake friends, and the pressure to perform for an audience that does not even care about you. You are spreading yourself so thin that you have become transparent. You have no substance, no weight, and no gravity because you are giving pieces of your soul to everyone who asks for it. The only way to reclaim your power, the only way to rebuild the shattered fragments of your identity into something unbreakable, is to make a radical, terrifying decision. You must vanish. I am not talking about taking a social media detox for a weekend where you announce to everyone that you are taking a break just to get attention. That is weak. That is a cry for help. I am talking about ghost mode. Is a strategic, indefinite disappearance from the social grid. It means you cut the cord completely. No announcements. No goodbye posts. No explanations. One day, you are there, laughing at their jokes, replying to their texts, and participating in their mediocrity. And the next day, you are simply gone. You cease to exist in their reality. This decision will terrify you because your ego is addicted to validation. Your ego is terrified of being forgotten. Your ego screams, if I disappear, will they still love me? And the brutal answer is, no, they won't. And that is exactly the point. You need to kill your addiction to their attention. You need to step out of the spotlight and into the shadows, because it is only in the absolute darkness of the void that you can see who you truly are. This is not a vacation. This is a funeral for the version of you that needed them. You are burying the social butterfly so that the lone wolf can be born. You are locking the door to your life from the inside, and you are swallowing the key. Once you close that door, you will enter the most difficult phase of your life, the void. Do not romanticize this. People think ghost mode is cool. They think it's a montage of working out and reading books. They are wrong. Ghost mode is psychological torture in the beginning. When you cut off the external noise, the internal noise becomes deafening. You will sit in your room, in the silence, and your brain will scream at you. It will beg for dopamine. It will beg for a distraction. You will feel an overwhelming sense of loneliness that physically hurts in your chest. You will pick up your phone out of habit, only to remember that you have deleted the apps, you have muted the chats, and you have blocked the noise. You will feel like a junkie going through withdrawal, shaking and sweating, desperate for just one hit of social validation. This is the test. This is the fire that burns away the weakness. Most men break here. They last 3 days, they get lonely, and they run back to the crowd, begging to be let back in. But you must hold the line. You must sit in that chair and stare at the wall until the screaming in your head stops. You are detoxing from the cheap, synthetic happiness that society sold you. You are learning to be alone without being lonely. This dark room is where the demons live, and you cannot outrun them anymore. You have to face them. You have to look at your failures, your insecurities, and your trauma without the anesthesia of entertainment. It is ugly. It is painful. It is disgusting. But it is necessary. You are excavating the rot from your soul. You are learning to find peace in the silence. You are learning that you are enough. Slowly, day by day, the withdrawal fades. The screaming stops. The brain rewires itself. And suddenly, the silence isn't empty anymore. It is full of power. You stop looking for energy outside of yourself, and you become your own generator. You realize that you don't need them to breathe. You don't need them to feel alive. You are becoming self-sustaining. You are becoming a ghost now that you have embraced the silence. You must fill the void with violence, physical violence against others, but violent, aggressive execution of your goals. Ghost mode is not about sitting around meditating. It is about working with a level of intensity that would kill a normal person. You have freed up hours of energy that you used to waste on gossip, scrolling, and socializing. Now, you channel that nuclear energy into three things: your body, your bank account, and your mind. Your routine becomes boring, repetitive, and robotic. You wake up. You train until your muscles fail. You work on your business or your skill with a laser-like focus that burns through obstacles. You eat to fuel the machine. You sleep to repair the machine. And you repeat. There are no cheat days. There are no nights out. There is only the mission. You become monomaniacal. You become obsessed, while the rest of the world is distracted by the latest news, the latest drama, and the latest trends. You are in the lab, mixing the chemicals of your destiny. You are reading books that expand your consciousness. You are lifting weights that crush your previous limits. You are building systems that generate wealth. You are doing the deep work that requires absolute isolation. This is the season of the grind. It is unglamorous. It is lonely. It is repetitive. But this is how empires are built. Empires are not built in the sunlight. They are built in the shadows, brick by brick, by men who refuse to be distracted. You are forging a new version of yourself, hammering out the impurities on the anvil of discipline. You stop caring about what day of the week it is.
Friday night feels the same as Monday morning because every hour is an opportunity to get ahead.
You are moving at a speed they cannot comprehend because you are not carrying the dead weight of their expectations. You are a missile locked onto a target, and nothing in the universe can knock you off course. While you are in the shadows building your kingdom, something interesting starts to happen outside. The world notices your absence. At first, they are annoyed. They text you, and you don't reply. They invite you, and you don't show up. They call you arrogant. They call you distant. But then, as the weeks turn into months, their annoyance turns into curiosity. And then, curiosity turns into concern. They start to ask each other, "Have you seen him? Is he okay? Did something happen?" They check your social media, and it's a ghost town. No updates, no stories, no proof of life. And This is where the magic happens. They start to speculate. Humans are storytelling creatures. When we don't have information, we invent it. Some will say you failed. Some will say you went crazy. Some will say you died. Let them talk. Let the rumors spread. Let them paint you as the loser, the recluse, the failure. This is exactly what you want. You want them to lower their guard. You want them to write you off. When they think you are finished, they stop competing with you. They get comfortable. They think they have won the race because they can't see you on the track anymore. Little do they know, you are not on the track. You are flying above it. This mystery is your greatest weapon. By withholding access to yourself, you are raising your value. Scarcity creates value. When you were available to everyone, you were cheap. Now that you are invisible, you are a legend. You become a myth in their minds. They wonder what you are doing. They wonder what you are thinking. You are living in their heads rent-free, occupying their thoughts while you don't spare a single second thinking about them. You are teaching them a brutal lesson. Your presence was a privilege, not a right. And because they abused that privilege, they are now left with nothing but your absence. Enjoy the silence. Enjoy the speculation. Let them bury you in their minds so your resurrection can be that much more shocking. And then, one day, the door opens. The ghost returns. But the man who walks out of the shadows is not the same boy who walked in. You re-enter the world, not with a shout, but with a whisper that shakes the ground. You walk into the room, and the atmosphere shifts. They look up, and their eyes widen. They see the physical transformation first, the jawline carved from granite, the shoulders broad and heavy with muscle, the posture of a king who owns the space he occupies. But then they feel the energy. The nervous, people-pleasing energy is gone, replaced by a cold, dark, terrifying calmness. You look them in the eye, and you don't look away. You don't smile to make them comfortable. You don't apologize for your absence. You simply exist, undeniable and unbreakable. They try to talk to you, to pull you back into the old dynamic, but it doesn't work. You are operating on a different frequency now. You speak less, but your words carry the weight of authority. You reveal your results, the business you built, the body you forged, the mindset you mastered, and the shock hits them like a physical blow. They realize that while they were partying, you were growing. While they were talking, you were doing. While they were stagnating, you were evolving. The rumors die instantly. The gossip is silenced. All that is left is awe and regret. They regret underestimating you. They regret wasting their own time. They look at you and they feel small because your presence forces them to see their own lack of progress. You have not just returned, you have transcended. You are no longer one of them. You are something else entirely. You are the one who walked into the darkness and came back with the fire. You died to your old self, and now you live as a nightmare to your enemies and a legend to those who watch. This is the power of ghost mode. You disappeared until they asked if you died, only to return and prove that you are the only one who is truly alive. There comes a moment in your evolution where you realize that no matter how kind, how generous, or how patient you are, you will still be the villain in someone else's story. You could give them the shirt off your back. You could bleed yourself dry to keep them warm. And the moment you finally say no, the moment you finally set a boundary to protect your own sanity, they will demonize you. They will run to their friends, to the internet, and to anyone who will listen, painting a picture of you that is so twisted, so ugly, and so far from the truth that you won't even recognize yourself in it. The old version of you, the weak version, would panic. You would run around trying to fix it. You would try to explain your side of the story, showing receipts, begging them to understand your intentions. Desperate to clear your name because you are addicted to being seen as the good guy. But that addiction is a cage. The need to be liked is the chain that keeps you enslaved to the opinions of people who do not matter. Today, I am handing you the key to that cage, and the key is a simple, terrifying realization. Let them paint you as the villain. Let them tell the world you are cold, selfish, arrogant, and heartless. Do not interrupt them. Do not correct them. Hand them the paintbrush. Because the moment you stop fighting their narrative is the moment you become free. You realize that their anger is not about you. It is about their lack of control over you. They hate you because they can no longer manipulate you. They call you a villain because you stopped being a victim. This label villain is not an insult. It is a graduation. It signifies that you have finally become a force of nature that cannot be tamed. Embrace the title. Wear the black hat. If standing up for yourself makes you the bad guy, then be the baddest guy they have ever seen. When you accept the role of the villain, a heavy burden is lifted off your shoulders, the burden of performance. The hero, or the nice guy, is always exhausted because he is constantly performing for an audience. He has to smile when he doesn't want to. He has to apologize for things he didn't do. And he has to constantly audit his behavior to make sure he isn't offending anyone. It is a miserable, suffocating existence. But the villain is free. The villain does not care if the audience boos or cheers. When you let them paint you as the bad guy, you no longer have to pretend to be nice. You no longer have to pretend to care about their petty drama. You can finally take off the mask of social politeness and show your true face. This is the ultimate liberation. Imagine walking into a room knowing that people might dislike you and feeling absolutely nothing but peace. Imagine hearing a rumor about yourself and laughing instead of crying. When you stop trying to convince people that you are good, you can focus all that energy on being great. The energy you used to waste on damage control can now be used for empire building. You become dangerous because you have nothing left to lose. A man who protects his reputation is vulnerable. Anyone can threaten to ruin it. But a man who has already accepted the role of the villain cannot be blackmailed. He cannot be shamed, and he cannot be controlled. You have taken away their only weapon. They want to expose you. Let them. They want to cancel you. Let them. You are all have realized that reputation is what people think of you, but character is who you are. Let them have the reputation. You keep the character. You keep the power. You keep the peace that comes from knowing that you answer to no one but yourself and God. There is a strategic advantage to being the villain that most people overlook: silence. While the heroes are busy virtue signaling, explaining their actions, and trying to win the popularity contest, the villain is working in the shadows. When you let them paint you as the bad guy, you stop engaging in the debate. You stop arguing. You go silent. And silence is terrifying to your enemies. They want a reaction. They want you to get angry. They want you to lash out so they can point a finger and say, "See, I told you he was crazy." When you give them nothing but silence, you starve them. You deny them the oxygen they need to keep the fire of their drama burning. Meanwhile, you use that silence to build. History is not written by the people who gossip. History is written by the winners. Right now, they are telling stories. Let them tell stories. You are writing history. You are building a body, a bank account, and a legacy that will eventually speak so loud that it drowns out their whispers. The paradox of the villain is that eventually the results become undeniable. When you win big win, you become undeniably successful. The narrative shifts. People are attracted to power. The same people who painted you as the villain will eventually come back, trying to rewrite the past, claiming they always knew you were special. It is sickening, but it is human nature. By refusing to engage in the petty squabbles of the present, you secure your victory in the future. You understand that lions do not lose sleep over the opinions of sheep. You are playing a long game. Let them have their little moment of gossip. Let them have their little hate club. You are building an empire that will overshadow their entire existence. You are focusing on the war, while they are focused on a single battle. Let's talk about energy, anger, spite, and the feeling of being wronged are powerful nuclear fuel sources if you know how to use them. The nice guy suppresses this energy. He swallows his anger until it turns into depression. The villain channels it. When you let them paint you as the bad guy, all that judgment and all that betrayal, and you throw it into the furnace of your ambition. There is a specific kind of focus that comes from being the outcast. When you are not invited to the party, you are in the lab. When you are not in the group chat, you are in the gym. The villain is always more productive than the hero because the villain is obsessed. Look at fiction. Look at history. The villain is always the one with the plan, the discipline, and the work ethic. The hero is usually just reacting. Be the villain in your work ethic. Use their doubt as motivation. Every time they whisper your name, imagine it adding 10 pounds to the bar you are lifting. Every time they spread a lie, imagine it adding a 0 to your bank account. You are turning their negative energy into positive results. This is the ultimate alchemy. You are letting them power your ascent. They think they are burying you with their words, but they are actually shoveling coal into your engine. You need to get to a place mentally where you almost appreciate the hate. You need it. It keeps you warm. It keeps you sharp. It reminds you that you are doing something significant enough to be talked about. If you were average, they wouldn't care. The fact that they are painting you as a villain means you are a threat to their mediocrity. You are a mirror reflecting their own failures, and they hate you for it. Good, use that. Let the hate flow through you and convert it into a relentless drive to succeed. In the final act of this drama, a strange truth reveals itself. The world needs villains. Society needs a monster to point at so they can feel better about themselves. By letting them paint you as the villain, you are actually performing a service. You are giving them a common enemy to unite against. You are carrying the weight of their projections so they don't have to look at their own shadows. But here is the twist deep down. They respect the villain more than they respect the nice guy. They fear the villain, yes, but they also admire his freedom. They admire his strength. They admire the fact that he does not bend the knee. Over time, that fear turns into awe. You will notice that the people who hate you the most are also the ones watching you the closest. They are your biggest fans in disguise. They are obsessed with you. They study your moves. They copy your style. They want to be you, but they lack the courage to be disliked. So, they hate you instead. When you finally reach the top of the mountain, standing there alone in your villainy, you will look down and realize that the opinions of these ants never mattered. You will realize that the paint they used to cover you has dried and cracked, falling off to reveal that you were never a villain, and you were never a hero. You were just a man who refused to compromise, a man who refused to be small. And in a world of cowards, being a man is the most villainous thing you can do. So let them paint. Let them talk. Let them hate. You have a destiny to fulfill, and you don't need their permission to fulfill it. Walk away from their canvas. Go build your own world. We need to begin by acknowledging a brutal truth about your existence. Your heart is the primary cause of your destruction. Look back at the timeline of your life. Look at every scar, every financial loss, every moment of humiliation, and every sleepless night where you stared at the ceiling wishing you didn't exist. What is the common denominator? It wasn't bad luck. It wasn't the economy. It was your emotions. It was your desperate, pathetic need to feel, to connect, and to be understood. You cared too much. You loved too hard. You trusted too easily. You walked into the world with your chest open, exposing your vital organs to people who were holding knives behind their backs. You thought that if you showed them your heart, they would show you theirs, but you were wrong. They didn't show you their heart. They showed you their hunger. They saw your empathy not as a food source, and they feasted on you. To become heartless is not an act of evil. It is an act of emergency surgery. Imagine a soldier on the battlefield who has been shot in the limb. The infection is spreading. If he keeps the limb, he dies. If he cuts it off, he lives. Your heart, that soft, bleeding, emotional center of yours, yours is the infected limb. It is poisoning your logic. It is clouding your judgment. It is making you weak in a world that only respects strength. Today, we are not here to heal the heart. We are here to remove it. You must visualize this process. You are the surgeon, and you are the patient. You must lay yourself down on the operating table of your mind and administer the anesthesia of absolute truth. The truth is that nobody cares about your feelings. The truth is that your sadness changes nothing. The truth is that your anger scares no one. When I say become heartless, I am not telling you to become a psychopath. I am telling you to become a machine of logic. I am telling you to cauterize the nerve endings of your soul so that you no longer feel the pain of betrayal. You need to reach a point where disappointment bounces off you like bullets off a tank. You need to reach a point where someone leaving your life triggers the same emotional response as a leaf falling from a tree. Absolute, total indifference. This surgery is painful because you are addicted to your own suffering. You are addicted to the drama. You think that feeling pain makes you human, but I am telling you that feeling pain is making you a victim. It is time to stop being human and start being something else. Something colder, something harder, something that can walk through fire and not even smell the smoke. You must make a vow today, a blood oath to yourself, that you will never again allow your emotions to dictate your actions. You are evicting the tenant of feelings from the house of your mind, and you are boarding up the windows. The surgery begins now. Now that we have decided to remove the heart, we must replace it with something superior. We must install a new operating system. We call this the mechanism of indifference. Most men think that the opposite of love is hate. They are wrong. Hate is still an emotion. Hate still requires energy. If you hate your ex, you are still their slave. If you hate your enemies, they are still living rent-free in your head. The true opposite of love and the true definition of power is indifference. It is the ability to look at a person who destroyed you and feel absolutely nothing. No anger, no sadness, no desire for revenge. Just a cold, empty void. This mechanism works by rerouting your neural pathways. Currently, when something happens, let's say, someone disrespects your brain immediately sends a signal to your heart. You feel a spike of adrenaline, a pang of hurt, a wave of insecurity. You react. You explain yourself. You fight back. You cry. This is the behavior of a prey animal. The heartless man operates differently. When the stimulus comes, he engages the pause. He creates a gap between the event and the reaction. In that gap, he inserts logic. He asks himself, does this person matter? Does this opinion pay my bills? Does this event stop my mission? The answer is almost always no. And so, he deletes the file. He stares through the person as if they are made of glass. You must learn to look at the world with dead eyes. Have you ever looked into the eyes of a shark? There is no negotiation there. There is no pity. There is just function. The shark eats, swims, and survives. It does not worry if the ocean likes it. You need to adopt this predatory gaze. When you walk into a room, you are not looking for friends. You are looking for opportunities. You are scanning the environment for threats and assets. You are stripping away the emotional layer of reality and seeing only the raw data. This makes you terrifyingly effective. While others are bogged down by office politics, gossip, and social anxiety, you are cutting through the noise like a laser. This indifference is a shield that no weapon can penetrate. Imagine the power of being uninsultable. Imagine someone screaming at you, trying to hurt your feelings, trying to get a reaction, and you just look at them with a flat, bored expression and check your watch. That silence destroys them. That silence signals that they are beneath your notice. They want your anger because your anger validates their existence. When you give them nothing, you erase them. You become a ghost to them. This mechanism requires constant practice. You have to catch yourself every time you start to care. You have to catch yourself every time you start to type that long, emotional paragraph. Delete it. Turn off the phone. Stare at the wall. Breathe the ice into your lungs. You are not a creature of emotion anymore. You are a creature of will. The heart is a liability. The mind is a weapon. Keep the weapon loaded and the liability empty. As you descend deeper into the state of heartlessness, you will face the most difficult part of the transformation, the social amputation. You are currently surrounded by people who are attached to the old you. They are attached to the weak you, the nice you, the available you. These people, your fake friends, your toxic family members, your draining partners or parasites. They have been feeding on your warmth for years. And the moment you turn off the tap of your validation, they will panic. They will attack you. They will call you selfish. They will call you arrogant. They will say, "You've changed." Your response to this must be ruthless. You must understand that you cannot save everyone. In fact, you cannot save anyone if you are drowning with them. You have to treat your life like a sinking ship where there are limited seats on the lifeboat. You cannot let everyone on board. If you try to pull everyone up, they will drag you down into the abyss. You have to start cutting the ropes. This is what we call the purge. It is a systematic removal of anyone who does not bring value, peace, or loyalty to your life. And when I say value, I don't just mean money. I mean respect. I mean energy. The heartless man does not announce his departure. He does not write a long goodbye letter explaining his feelings. He simply ceases to exist in their world. He stops replying. He stops showing up. He blocks. He deletes. It is a silent, violent removal. You might feel a pang of guilt. That guilt is the ghost of your old heart trying to come back to life. You must strangle that guilt. You must realize that no is a complete sentence. You do not owe anyone an explanation for your absence. Access to you is a privilege, not a right. And most people have abused that privilege. This amputation extends to your past as well. You must cut off the nostalgia. Stop looking at old photos. Stop listening to sad songs that remind you of her. Stop visiting places that hold memories. That is emotional self-harm. You are digging up a grave every time you look back. The heartless man has no rear-view mirror. He burns the bridges behind him so that there is no option but to move forward. The light from the burning bridges illuminates the path ahead. Yes, it will be lonely at first. You will look at your phone and it will be silent. You will sit in your room and there will be no noise. Do not be afraid of this silence. This is not the silence of isolation. It is the silence of freedom. It is the sound of the parasites falling off your body. You are finally light enough to ascend. You are finally empty enough to be filled with power. Let them go. Let them talk. Let them hate. You are on a different frequency now, a frequency they cannot tune into. What happens when a man successfully kills his heart? What emerges from the cocoon of ice? A monster? No. A king cannot afford the luxury of unregulated emotion. A king cannot make decisions based on what he feels like doing. He must do what is required. When you become heartless, you unlock a level of focus that is superhuman. Because you are no longer distracted by the drama of relationships, the fear of rejection, or the noise of society. You can channel 100% of your energy into your mission. This is the dark gift of the void. When you don't care about people, you can see reality clearly. You become excellent at business because business is just logic and psychology. You become excellent at fitness because the gym doesn't require feelings. It requires repetition. You become a master of your reality. And here is the greatest paradox of all. The moment you stop caring about people, the moment you become cold and detached, people will start chasing you. It is a twisted law of human nature. We want what we cannot have. When you were nice, when you were available, you were cheap. You were abundant. Now that you are cold, now that you are scarce, you are valuable. Women will wonder why they cannot manipulate you. Men will wonder why they cannot intimidate you. Your lack of reaction makes you mysterious. It makes you dangerous. You become the unmovable object in a world of chaotic forces. But you must never fall for the trap of letting them back in. You must maintain the frame. You must stay in the void. You are not doing this to get them back. You are doing this to surpass them. You are building an empire in the silence. The heartless man finds peace in the emptiness. He realizes that happiness was never found in other people. It was found in self-mastery. He wakes up, executes his plan, builds his wealth, sharpens his body, and goes to sleep with a clear conscience. He is not burdened by the opinions of sheep. He is the wolf who walks alone, not because he was kicked out of the pack, but because he outgrew it. You have destroyed the old you. You have buried the weak you. And in his place stands a fortress of iron and ice. You are safe now. You are powerful now. You are free now.